everything, but Prevail's not certain about it. Now having to find an escape route.
I like this from Prevail, though. Shows that he didn't like that gunfight, he just advances forward. They wouldn't have expected that because he was a little bit weak. He moves forward, finds one, does eventually get taken down, but that was a lot of pressure that would have been pushed over towards the X-Rock's side. Now a bit of a switch up here from the side of Godlike. We're going to try and maybe make a move, but look at this pressure that's now just immediately come in from Nono. He's going to be in a hellish position for the rest of the team to maybe do something. Sunoa actually pushed up towards the woods side, so there is somebody very, very close who's going to cause issue, who is potentially going to get caught out himself, but the map is split in a weird way here, Brody, but a lot of pressure from X-Rock.
Yeah, X-Rock with this mid-map control, I think is the biggest issue right now here for Godlike. Sunuo keeping an eye on the cross. I think he will have just seen a beast run towards B. He's certainly going to see the rest, and he's certainly going to be able to kill against Learn as well. Makes things all the more awkward now for Godlike. You're not only in a 2 versus 3, but you know that X-Rock have the knowledge of where you're going.
Tough situation. The grenade will be well placed, as will that bullet. Abiz gets taken down. That's 3 in the round now from Sunuo. Nono has followed up as well, but the Tundras are singing right now for X-Rock. Just put themselves in the right position. It's nothing too flashy. But if you're Neutrino, you are going to get an opportunity here. That bomb's going to go down, but I can imagine you're going to get collapsed on pretty quickly. It would take some sort of 1 versus 3 to pull off the round number 1 win.
I thought for a second there he was going to make a wrap around the middle of the map, but no. Neutrino now looking for it. Has he just found the perfect timing in behind enemy lines? You need better shots than that, though. He's going to find the first kill against Sunuo. No immediate trade. Neutrino might be able to hit the regen kill with some good timing. Even finds a second kill, but Roxy's going to take them down. 1 versus 3 denied.
Got a little bit scary for X-Rock there for a second. He got some good timing as he pushes around the back of the B side, but I think if he hits those shots a little bit crispier on that first gunfight, he's got an even better opportunity. But either way, X-Rock will find the win. I think they would have liked it to be a little bit cleaner in that 3 versus 1, but you take the scoreline at the top of your screens as the most important factor. Doesn't matter which way you get it. Over towards it. Again, just reads Abiz. He's got their number and Learn's trying to survive. Get away from him, my God. Tron M going to run down the middle of the map. He will find one, not the second. Trunks will be able to answer back, but momentarily he's left all on his own in a 1 versus 4. Different look from X-Rock. They get aggressive and they punish Godlike.
If you guys want to look up the dictionary definition of the word sniper rifle, you might find a picture of Sinuan where Trunks now 1 versus 4 has to find the perfect route through the middle of the map here. Not only to pick up these kills, but to actually grab the bomb as well. Things just so awkward. Might be able to find Nono right in front of him. He gets the timing. There it is. Finds that kill. Does he escape in towards the line of sight of another player? No, he's actually picked the perfect route to get away.
He's done well to get the kill and get out, but there's a big problem right now. No bomb in the back pocket. No information. But X-Rock haven't got a clue either. Trunks making his way around. Just trying to find a little bit of information where he can, but like ships in the night, they have passed each other. And this has become from an impossible situation for Trunks to semi-plausible here, Brody.
Yeah, I feel like if you get this bomb down, which of course I think is the precursor to any kind of 1 versus 4 scenario, you have to be fast about getting a follow-up gunfight. And I think he's been too slow about that decision because he's going to have Mark raining down upon him sooner rather than later. Or maybe not. Trunks still not sure about this one. You don't actually have a lot of time to make a decision. He's trying to check all the different corners in which a player could be located. Has just spotted out Sunuo, but again, the shot's not exactly crispy. And now Sunuo will just get away, play their life. Trunks will try to get this bomb down, but I think there's no chance.
He'll try for it. Even if he does, it will be diffused and the kill will come through either way. X-Rock very patient there, in fairness to them, because I think there would be so much in the fact that you find all those kills early does, you start just sprinting around together to try and find out, but as soon as they don't have that information on the last player, they take their time. Right decision made. X-Rock. Shocking at the beginning of the round is really what won it for them, but good job either way. He's looking for a shot here to try and answer back to what has been some phenomenal Tundra play from the side of X-Rock. Hasn't been able to quite get things going in this series, and he was somebody we did highlight from the side of Godlike, who has been a huge catalyst to everything good they've been doing. Hasn't really got himself going here on Saturday.
X-Rock just looking so much better right now. They're shutting down the key players on Godlike. And Godlike, I mean, they just look so concerned about moving forward, right? They really want some kind of first blood before doing something, and once again, they've lost it. Prevail going down by the hand of, would you guess it, Sunuo. And Godlike now in this effort, just continuing to be bullied by Sunuo.
It's such a factor having a sniper player who is doing this to you on firing range. It's so difficult to get away from him. He just seems to know where everybody is. It's a little bit of bad timing there. He may well get pushed by Learn. Actually, it doesn't bloody matter because he's just not missing bullets. Learn will walk into the cursor. And now all of a sudden, Trunks and the Bees left all on their own. It has not been a fun time on firing range so far. Still time for Godlike to try and turn this round around. And maybe it becomes just that little bit more difficult. They are being pegged back and beaten to a pulp. 3-0 now to X-Rock.
Yeah, it's just the mid-map pressure here from Godlike. It's insane, right? You win that first blood, and it's just like X-Rock have Godlike, excuse me, have nowhere to go. X-Rock win that first blood, and the mid-map pressure is just insane. Godlike needs to do something, and it needs to be a different look, I think, here on the offense. Something aggressive, and here we go. Through the middle of the map, they're going to do exactly that, but they're not winning the gunfight. It's 3 consecutive fights in favor of X-Rock here. Now make it 4, as once again, the wall bang comes through from Sunuo. Neutrino 1 versus 5. Have this fun with this one, buddy.
An absolute bloodbath so far here in the Search and Destroy. Always the tough ones to get a cast over because you just don't know where the route back in for Godlike is. Is it potentially with a 1 versus 5? Well, it'd be some way to start the comeback. But even with Neutrino and his ability, his talent, it's just a step too far, surely. The shot's starting to come through. It's another dominant round from X-Rock, 4 to the good.
It's just every single time. I mean, Godlike even did try something different at the start of that round, right? I mean, for the most part, the looks have been mostly the same through the first 3 rounds. They try to go aggressive through number 4, and it's those kind of plays where you do kind of throw a curveball and it doesn't work that really does demoralize you. X-Rock in commanding control of this game. And now Godlike back to playing somewhat scared, but they've got 1 player through towards an advanced position. If Trunks can find a frag, that'll open things up for Godlike.
It's felt like bad starts to the round have happened, but that grenade just comes from the sky and wipes Trunks out. Bees will eventually get the better of Sunuo, but I mean, 4 versus 4, it's just players like that that are just going to hurt you so much. But there we go, we find another one if we all learn, and we are now into this round. Godlike will get this bomb down, and X-Rock are nowhere near.
Yep. So you'll have to spend some time now looking for the retake here. What path do they take? Prevail, trying to be patient, but it's not going to work. Big read from Nono. And now these guys will be on their way. Did Prevail make the communication that there's not just 1 but 2 players on the way? Does not matter because Neutrino not able to get down sites fast enough. Nono's going to take them out. Now numbers here for X-Rock.
23 seconds. X-Rock trying to make this work. If you are Godlike, you need to try and stay alive. There's one gone. They know exactly where he is. They hunt them all down. You get the first bloods, you get the advantage, you get the bomb down. It just does not matter. X-Rock are dominating Godlike here in the Search and Destroy.
And the thing is, right, fundamentally, Godlike are doing everything right. The way they played that post-plant setup is perfect, right? You know that X-Rock have players over towards B still. You know they don't have any presence on A. So put yourself in a position where you can catch them off guard. But it doesn't matter whether you've got Neutrino in the position or player Prevail there as well. Does not matter whatsoever.
Well, the Snapdragon performance meter, if it went further than that, then it would be right now for the side of X-Rock. They're absolutely frying. And Godlike don't really seem to have an answer. It's now just a 5-man hit over towards A, and like, what, 3 of them are already dead. This is just a walk in the park. Beebs is able to answer back with something to make it now a 3 versus 2. Tron M and Rox 1 already dropping down, but no. He can smell him. Neutrino, the next one on the chopping block potentially now for No, but a little dip away. Don't know if he'll have that information that he's crossed. Still so much work to do here if you're Godlike.
And it's even more so now as you've lost the Bees. Wow. Even more so as you lose Neutrino. X-Rock are flawless on their defense. And again, Godlike, I mean, they're playing well. They are playing well. They're doing everything right. X-Rock are simply outgunning them. Sunuo with 10 kills to his name. It's terrifying. Absolutely. If I go anywhere near Sunuo on this map, I'm running away.
The thing is, you can't run away from him when he's got that scope, right? He's just looking down every single angle he needs to, but he has getting taken down now. Learn gets aggressive in the middle of the map with the Fennec, and that has made the difference. Can Godlike potentially find something now?
Well, they've got numbers around B. Seems to be the site of attack here for X-Rock. Roxy is pushed forward towards Wood. Big kill. Trunks would have got that one. That would have made things more difficult. X-Rock would have had to go and retrieve the bomb, and push towards B would have been delayed significantly. So now they've made this one a 4 versus 4. I almost feel like that was kind of an unnecessary push from Trunks, to be honest with you. You had map control, you had life advantage, you didn't really need to make that.
I felt like he was in the position to win the gunfight as well, and didn't. Godlike not able to do much here, and Trina's just going to get caught trying to just chilling. Now all of a sudden, it is a 3 versus 3. And BC is able to find No, so a more postured round from Godlike potentially. Beat control is here though for the side of X-Rock. One player here to potentially slow this down is going to be Learn. Has some help on the way. Keeping himself nice and tight in that corner. Watching the cross, 33 seconds remaining. Now Godlike will have to hold tight as X-Rock starting to move into position. The shots are going to come up, but there comes the flank. Beast will find one on the Chuan M, and all of a sudden the gunfight's inside the site, starting to run on down, but Prevail will find 2, and Godlike will find 1. Let's get themselves around. X-Rock 6 to the good.
Yeah, not without trying, I will say, from Godlike. They definitely kind of made a couple of errors there in that round. That could well have been a 7-0 to X-Rock. That's the first time, I will say, in the Search and Destroy, I feel like maybe there were some unforced errors from Godlike. But still, they make it happen. Big plays from Prevail towards the end of that one. X-Rock, very different look. Nades, utility galore over the top. Insinuo snipe to take a piece out of the play. That's the big one.
All of a sudden, that site is wide open. 2 players still over towards the B side. If you're Godlike and you need to get yourself over because that bomb is down, Snuro finds another one. It's just really been the Tundra show from him. 12 in this game. Will he have many opportunities to find many more kills here, because this moment in time, this is looking like an X-Rock map. It's going to be a 2 versus 5 needed, make it a 1 versus 5 needed. They've brought out absolutely everything. Trunks will be able to find 1. Heroic plays needed with 20 seconds to go, and you're just running into gunfire at every single given moment. 7-1 to X-Rock. Domination in the Search and Destroy. Close map number 1, map number 2 could not have been further from it.
Boy, X-Rock on Search and Destroy, eh? I feel like if these teams could, they'd probably be at the game modes. X-Rock are just that damn good at it. And I think you guys saw there why. Again, I kind of stressed it throughout the entirety of that Search and Destroy. Godlike were fine. They were doing everything right. They were throwing a ton of different looks at X-Rock, variety of different strategies, and all of them were rock solid. It's just you cannot get past the gunfights. You cannot get past Sinuo. You cannot get past Roxy when they're playing like that. Honestly, it's got to be so frustrating. I mean, you're literally going through the playbook throughout the entirety of the Search and Destroy, looking for a way to throw X-Rock off. And the only round you do actually win is really via a clutch up, to be honest. Via that 2-piece, I think it was from Prevail that got it done. Honestly, Godlike there just got outclassed.
Massively. And I think, you know, we could go on about Godlike maybe not being able to do this or do that. It has felt more like X-Rock are the ones just performing extremely well. They are yet to drop a map here at the tournament. That's currently an 8-0 record. We're going to keep running it up. We're going to keep counting it, because at this moment in time, they look like the team to be. Sensational performance there in the Search and Destroy. Godlike had 0 answers throughout the majority, and now they're going to be heading into a control on C side. A map that they've lost previously up against the side of X-Rock at CDSI just a few short weeks ago.
Yep, it was what, 4-1, I think it was the final scoreline there. CDSI will be again kind of asterisk on that one, because I think that was a group stage game, so if it was a knockout game, maybe things would look a little bit different for Godlike, but the result stands nonetheless. And if you look across not just that performance, but across both CDSI and the Snapdragon Pro Series for Godlike, Seaside has been a very 50-50 map. So I'm almost surprised in a way that it wasn't the auto veto for them. I knew that Arsenal control would be gone. I was fully expecting raid control in this best of 5, but nonetheless, Seaside is where we're going to go. And again, it goes back to that conversation where like, look, I know it's a 50-50 map for them, and I know that they lost it at CDSI, but is it because, hey, we've looked at the bot, we know where we went wrong on that moment combination, now we know how to take over? I know that feels like a bit of a fallacy, right? It's like, you don't really know how to take over.
I mean, to be fair though, look, the summit was closer than it was to CDSI.
Yeah.
It was a well-contested game between the two. So is that going to be the case when we go over towards the seaside? Of course, CDSI, they play up to 4 first in the control. It's a 4-1 victory on the side of X-Rock. It's convincing.
It's just terrifying.
Right.
Yeah, I think just just in general, this is the game mode again. You are looking to take X-Rock out in the respawns now, right? And so I think just looking forward in this series, not just in the seaside control, right, but just for the rest of this one, you have to reverse sweep X-Rock. You have to take search and destroy of them, and you've got to do that on Tunisia. I know this is kind of later down the line, maybe we don't even get to game 5, and honestly, the way that X-Rock are playing right now, sorry Godlike fans, but it's maybe not looking likely. It's going to be so difficult for Godlike, and again, and going back to that conversation point about how important the veto processes are here at Champs, I really feel like it is just a massive test of how deep your map pool is. You cannot have, coming into Champs, a shallow map pool whatsoever, because I think that more than anything else is the thing that fools you.
If they find themselves on the seaside though, if they can somehow scrape it away, stand off and be map number 4, could possibly lead them to a map number 5, but again, your backs are against the wall and search and destroy. Map number 1 felt like a potential must win. They didn't get a hold of it, now we head into a map number 3, they are 2 games down. It's got to be X-Rock, hasn't it? Surely, are really in a tough spot. Just trying to think of the route back in for them. And Seaside is one of those maps though, it takes one good wipe.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Seaside, right, I think it is just a case of, and I think especially given the fact that, a lot of teams do feel relatively inexperienced on it. This is not the case for Eastern teams like Godlike and like X-Rock. It is just a case of just trying to get yourself in those advanced positions for a potential spawn trap. I don't know, man, I don't know. It really does feel like, you have to take these 2 respawns and somehow get the search and destroy away from X-Rock in the grand fight, in the final map. That's going to be the Tunisia search and destroy, but this seaside control is just going to be so difficult. And we talk about kind of what's been missing so far for Godlike in this best of 5. We talk about the key power plays, as it were. Abiz has just not been there, and he was the guy that's going nuts for them yesterday.
Well, they're trying to gas themselves up for this one. It is do or die now for Godlike. You can't lose another map. None of this series, at least anyway. He wants to see it Sunday here at codmobile Champs. You've got to prevent Godlike from finding anything else here. The reverse move is needed. And doing that against X-Rock, it's just a task that seems impossible, but I Godlike have done impossible things before. Let's see if they can do it again. Into this one, Godlike need the reverse sweep. X-Rock, doing good.
Alright, let's see. Godlike, what do they look like at the start? I feel like they're going to have to come in very venomous early on in towards this control. So far, so good. So they're not afraid to get themselves on towards A, and of course they are going to go for a bit of a split push here. If they can get that gunfight for B's on towards No on B, that would be big, but No's going to win that one. So now for Godlike, I think this has to be a much more visual approach towards A.
You have to. Because his team is starting to get pinned into the spawn, you start to lose every single gunfight, you do eventually get one back through an intrigue, and everybody else starts to fall. Len is there to pick up some pieces as well, but the spawn trap now starting to come into fruition, potentially here as well, as Beast can find one, or at least find something as well, and does. So that pressure was feeling a little tight there, but eventually they will fight their way out of it. X-Rock do come out better from that opening salvo, but Godlike do survive without too much of a smart, if you want to say that.
Yeah, X-Rock, they definitely tried, I think, off the back of that retake to push forward to the spawn trap, but it doesn't work, fortunately enough. Godlike now able to put something together for a push towards B. X-Rock, I think, are going to be looking for a flank either through the middle of the map or from behind. From the front, though, no, it's actually able to look at the first gunfight against Prevail. Even a couple of players isolated on the point here, Neutrine on the B's. What do you got for us? There goes one. A B's left alive here. Second tick through, you got it on the point. If you're X-Rock, you just lost B. You let the B's capture it, so an extra 60 seconds, that goes on the board.
I think a lot of them have been focusing on trying to keep the rest of Godlike in their spawn rather than them getting a hold of that point. They feel the position is strong enough to maybe finish the round. So now going to have shotgun down just out of the line coming on through, so a little bit of RDF potentially. You're going to try and find something here. You're on the side of no, he finds nothing. Godlike, go right through here. It's to the point they go. They already had 2 ticks on this. X-Rock backs against the wall. For the first time that Godlike can actually draw blood. It seems like they're going to, as well as time he can do something about it. They cannot. Wow. And then nothing. Godlike get the round.
And I think that was the decision, right? You mentioned it, right? The fact that they didn't go straight towards B. They were like, look, we're just going to get ourselves map control for potential spawn trap. It's a risky play. We always talk about that. If you go for the spawn trap, you have to make sure you get the kills first, and they didn't. So they lose round number 1. Massive offensive victory for Godlike again. This is the start of a very long road, or reverse sweep for Godlike. Brilliant start of that. Now X-Rock here on the offensive as well for the full right man towards to A. Roxy's going to take himself out of the play, and Joanna's going to go down as well. So already down in numbers here for this play.
Only a couple of kills. Just find something, but Neutrino coming in here with the War Machine is just the worst possible place that you want to be when there's an enemy War Machine bringing on through. Find something, but the kills have been mostly been answered by X-Rock trying to have him through the front door. Finds the kill on the Neutrino, will push forward. Just gets a bit of bad time as Prevail was there. But look at this pressure coming in from Godlike over towards B. There's Trunks in the back.
Oh, Trunks. Yeah, Trunks is playing a huge role right now, just kind of distracting X-Rock and burning time off the clock. They have to deal with it before they move forward towards either of these 2 points, and that's why they're expending so many resources to do so. Trunks is playing his life so well. That's the second kill for him now. Now looking for more. X-Rock, again, wasting so much time doing this. Finally, Trunks out of the play, but now the rest of Godlike are here. Trunks, that was a brilliant play for you.
Managed to get something going in Zono, just missing bullets with the Thunder, which we have not seen at all today. Maybe just a little bit nervous now, X-Rock. It's not like trying to get themselves back into this game. If you have a route over towards that A side, they've pretty much cleared out the spawn apart from the side. Not Prevail. Trunks will find 2 though before going down. Purify exchange on either side of things, but continue to push ahead. Nomo is going to invest the equalizer. They feel like they need to do something. X-Rock are trying.
The position's also good here from Nono. Yeah, this is it. A is gone, and Godlike know it as well. And I love this kind of call from Godlike, right? I mean, you've got the point, just get yourself on towards B, get yourself map control, because you're about to face down Nono with equalizers. Well, maybe not.
Minute 15 seconds to go. Feel a huge gunfight onto Nono to find the second. Trying to slow them down as Godlike just tries to stretch themselves over the B side. They need to win a couple of gunfights if you're going to get aggressive like this. Nono's surely going to catch Trunks down. He is. So a little bit of presence now for the side of X-Rock over towards B, backs against the wall. Godlike feels like very similar round to the first, where X-Rock have had their backs against the wall and all of a sudden have come into life. It was the same for Godlike around number 1. They're going to need to find a way back in, but so much investment coming in from X-Rock is making it very difficult. 2 ticks already in. Godlike have one final stab at this in round number 2. They've got to make the move down. Neutrino can find 1. Neutrino can find 2. He's just doing it all on his own. Cannot find the 3rd or the 4th, but it's allowed the rest of Godlike to maybe get around through yet. The kill's starting to ring in. They will eventually lock it down. There's the 3rd tick coming through. Not without a little bit of resistance. X-Rock will find the second round.
Yeah, just going straight through the meat grinder. We've got like there at the front of the point. Seeing like with the Sparrow, I think he got 3 kills from that one. Roxy, of course, able to finish things off alongside Chuan as well. And Roxy will finish that round with a Predator missile and a 100 kilo drone in the back pocket. So that was a brilliant response from X-Rock. Credit's Godlike though. They definitely tried their socks off. Stop that from happening. Now split push from Godlike once again off the rib. It's a 4-1 split. Ern's going to utilise the Sparrow to try and do some carnage over by Winery. Will only be able to find 1, so for now Godlike I think it's just going to be retreating back towards B. And you haven't really got that much in the way of resistance right now.
No, and I think that investment of the Sparrow, I kind of twisted my face at it at first, but he's kind of invested that, they're pushing up towards it, if he found something great, but the rest of the team already over towards B, so is it a Sparrow for B? Well, okay, you take it if that's the case.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that as well, Roxy springs out the War Machine now. That's actually probably not the best utilisation of the War Machine. I think he kind of spam his bullets before he got anywhere near it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a Hail Mary play, quite literally, but it doesn't really work out for him. So B is now fallen by the wayside. That is an early capture coming through from Godlike. Roxy now forced to bring the Predator missile into play. Not just for kills in this situation, but I think for information they need to know where these players are coming from.
Trunks unfortunately falling, as does Learn. So X-Rock have had an opportunity set up here. They may well want to spread their wings towards that spawn for Godlike, but right now information is still not really there. Beats will find kill, no, not really. Bounces on the flank, goes through the middle of the map. Kills are now being traded. Start kill feed, I mean, do we end up to be able to find much? Neutrino will find something though with the War Machine. Whose operators have been used so well by Godlike. They found a way through.
Yep, that War Machine is everything here for Neutrino. Already found 1. Firing bullets down range. This is not just getting kills, but it's keeping these guys away. Oh, away! Zero! The collapse there to take a couple of players off the point, but Godlike's still not done just yet. There's still fights, there's still players left to take out of the play, and Bees is trying to do his best impression of a run-up, but it's just not happening. He goes down. First tick though through for Godlike. That I think is a pretty successful push.
It's actually not really like a good map whatsoever. But that collapse line up so beautifully for him, and that really allows X-Rock to just completely take control of the site once more. 1 minute and 20 to go. Godlike are trying to work on something here. And Sonora knows something is up. He's trying to hold down the flank if he can. 1 kill here will be an absolute bonus. Neutrino just dips away, but now of course he has the hard night in hand. It's Johnny Snipers all over again. A second as well, he holds down the spawn. So won't be a secret. Godlike now invested in time and players. Always towards that flank, you've got nothing for it.
That's such amazing game sense from Tino to get that one done. To recognise that, hey, not just one, but two players coming on the flank and take the players down before they can cause any trouble is everything. And now X-Rock back in towards the point. Rock solid defense so far. 45 seconds on the clock. Mara is even peeking himself out of the point. Look at the gunfight with the R9. X-Rock being so frustrating now. Annihilator ready to go from Mara. How much more damage can he do?
Just wants to put a final nail in the coffin, but it gets taken down almost immediately. So God, like, potentially have to work through here. Trying to find one. The next rock just about holding on, but Trunks will find something of his own. You can see operators running in through the side of X-Rock. No, though, just puts the final nail in. There's 3 with the equalizer. Here comes number 4 as well for Bill. The next one, the chopping block. We're going to waste him. Oh, my goodness me. Yeah, okay, he's got 2 SMGs, will just punch him in the face. A potential grenade for God, like, one last roll of the dice.
Yeah, the Beast has to do something on the flank here. At least find one frag. They're ready for it though. The 3-5's good. The Beast down for the count. Gunfight's also being around from the trying to point. Trunks will get 2 with the Purify. Is that the in for God? Like, you've lost 1 player down to the final 4.
They managed to get themselves in. They need those reinforcements very, very quickly, but X-Rock don't have numbers to answer back just yet. And waiting for their moment. So one of those is going to pull out the Sparrow. There's 2 kills to fall. And the Prevail enemies have combined very, very well. There's been investment from either side. But X-Rock are coming out on top. It's a 1 versus 5 needed for Prevail. Onto the point he goes. Has he got time yet to get all these guys? They've got to get there so quickly. Prevail, I think, goes out. It's a 1v5 from Prevail. Cannot find it. No, sticks a grenade at his feet, and that's so doable.
Yeah, and that's a good investment in the equals as well. Even though it doesn't do anything, there's a realistic chance that nade does not connect, that he actually gets pretty much all of those players. The equals are just that good. So that was the right decision, the right play call there in the moment, but ultimately it does not work. Godlike. Oh, just a hair's breadth away from taking around on X-Rock there. And now, they have to stop X-Rock. They've got the offense previously, and they're doing the same kind of strategy once more. It's a 4-5 stack towards it.
The wind behind the sails here for the side of X-Rock. Kills halfway. 2 clutch-up rounds that have come on through for them. Don't like to fall into the wayside, even with some really good play from them. They've seemed resolute. But how much metal have they still got in this game? Prevail will start to find a couple of kills though, so that might just help them out on the defensive side. But no, now starting to push forward, just trying to put down the hook where he can. The rest of the team here as well. Now they will eventually get themselves an opportunity to push forward. You can see on the other side of things, a potential spawn shot coming through for MA, does not find it. So X-Rock haven't really made too much of an inroad here. 2 ticks is all they have. They may well find third very, very shortly though.
And it should be said this is an important defensive round here. If Godlike can do this without giving it away, they might well get a defensive round of 5, and they're utilising their operators to get it done. Neutrino's already found a couple of kills here. Sino next up to the shopping block. He's going to run out of War Machine pellets to get it done. Does not matter, you've got bees there for the help. So it is no longer an option here for X-Rock. 50 seconds, you're going to have to go for plan B, quite literally. And with that kill from Mark, the opening has now been made. It's going to be a while before he gets the resources. Mark needs to do a little bit more damage, and he knows it as well towards the middle of the map. Will not be able to get that kill on towards Trunks, but at the very least there is a good effort.
And now back on the cards here for X-Rock. Chopping and changing between which way they're going. Godlike just having to commit to something. A may well be gone. They've sent too many numbers over towards B. You need to do something special if you Godlike over towards A. It's not going to happen. So they set themselves up for B. The lives are dead even. A minute and a half to go. X-Rock have time to defend, but Godlike are happy to sit tight here. They have had some opportunity to set themselves up over towards B. Only half X-Rock to break this down, you would think.
Godlike having players at the point. Actually, a lot of them very far removed from here. I think they're very concerned about potential flanking player, but that's not where, for the most part, this pressure is coming from. Does not matter though. Godlike, they're winning all these fights around the point. A couple of players through the middle of the map. This will be a late hit from the Bees as well. Is it going to be timed well against these players? 2 and M. Oh no, stop that kill. No, going to get second. And there goes Tuno as well. Here comes the investor from Xbox. They want to get this done now.
Oh, that's a big thing through Neutrino though, and a big one from Prevail as well. That's operating to shut down. No equalizer now available, and of course Godlike will have that available at some stage during this defense if they can continue to hold on. War Machine being run out, doesn't find anything, so big investment coming from X-Rock, they find nothing for it.
Yeah, they got looking out back towards the point as well. They were held back. If you could have found something there with the War Machine, that would have been huge for X-Rock, but it does not work. Now Godlike, I believe they've got Trunks and, or Beezits this time, excuse me, in that position once again to try and distract X-Rock, but they quickly deal with him. So that's one problem out of the way here, Tun. And now Godlike, looking to try and hold on towards this point. X-Rock, they have to hit this as a team, but look at this flanking play potentially coming through from Neutrino.
Neutrino was the one that found the grenade kill. On to no when those equalizers come through. Do they know this is coming? Yes, they do, but a distraction tactic, they will slow them down. Mark will pull out the Annihilator though, and is this now going to be such a big problem for them to find that second shot? Maybe a little bit nervy. Extra now with 6 versus 6 with the kill starting to come through for them. They will find one back with the War Machine with Sudo. Once again, it's clutching up when needed. 12 seconds to go. It's a 5 versus 3. Extra are running away with this one. Everyone from Godlike is starting to fall. They don't have the time, they don't have the numbers, they do not have the facilities to win this game. X-Rock will advance on to Championship Sunday. They make mincemeat of Godlike, a 3-0 win. Godlike put up a fight, but not nearly enough. X-Rock, take that one away.
Just the minutest of decisions there from Godlike made all the difference, even in that final round. I liked it in the replay package. If Juno even makes that flank, if he doesn't go back towards the point with the War Machine, I think they hop on. I think they get to a round of 5, but no. X-Rock will get it done. Man, just so difficult. Godlike, I mean, look, we talked about it right the way into the series was the hard points, and the fact that they lost the first game in this series, I think we kind of knew where it was going to go after that.
Really strong performance on behalf of X-Rock there, but coming in out of Swiss 3-0, we knew they were going to be a dominating force. Really difficult for any of our teams to take on, especially this early on in the bracket stage. Godlike, though, like you said, they made it to the top 8 in the world. Yet again, a strong performance.
I think the thing is, though, this just further reaffirms why you need to have a good Swiss stage. Because if you go through the very last opportunity, this is your first game single elimination. It's so difficult when you're coming into this against one of the tournament favourites, but then that's what happens when you don't have such a clean Swiss stage. This is your unfortunate reward. You have to go against Extra, which, by the way, the Search and Destroy was flawless. In fairness, the control and the hard point relatively close. You know, Godlike had their opportunities in the control. The hard point was back and forth, but for the most part, X-Rock led all the way through. But the Search and Destroy was quite terrifying, if anything. So X-Rock looked the real deal, and we'll see what they look like tomorrow as well.
Yeah, you're just not taking a Search and Destroy of X-Rock. I honestly would not be surprised, even against their fellow Chinese teams, if X-Rock went through the entirety of the tournament not losing a single Search and Destroy. I mean, it looks that good. And again, going back to that conversation, Godlike were doing well. They were doing the right things. They just could not outgun X-Rock and S&D.
I'm going to remember that prediction. Between Alan's reverse sweep prediction and now you're saying X-Rock won't drop a single SND throughout the rest of the weekend. Okay.
He's committed there, hasn't
he?
That's brave.
We'll make sure we clip that as well so we can reference it later on tomorrow. But it is X-Rock who make their way now out of the quarterfinals into the semifinals. That was a nice, quick day for them. They can now, honestly, watch everybody else, take some notes on how these other performances are going to go throughout the day, and that could be beneficial for them tomorrow.
Well, they know, especially with the next game coming up, who they're going to be playing against pretty early, so they will have a lot of time to get some of that research in. I mean, I'm sure they will know exactly what they want to do, irrelevant of who they go up against. But X-Rock, fantastic performance, and you're right, a long time to wait now. Do not need to do anything until tomorrow. Nice way to start their day.
Yeah, not too shabby. I mean, this is going to be massive confidence-wise for them, but obviously commiserations and congratulations to Godlike because they still did make it really far in the competition. Still a fun storyline that we've been following since last year, and it was just enjoyable to see them compete here again.
Yeah, look, I think the competition has just raised itself significantly from last year, right? I mean, Godlike surprised a lot of people last year. Nobody expected them to do what they did, making it all the way towards grand finals. So, again, the competition's very different this year. I don't think there's anything wrong with dropping out of top 8, especially when the team that took you out is X-Rock.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for us to talk to some of our players here. We've got F-Dot standing by, I believe, with Nono on the stage.
That's right. We got Nono here, and of course, Brian to help us have a little chat. So the first question I want to ask you guys, X-Rock, you look incredible. You're the #1 seed, you're playing like it. Where do you find that energy? What makes your team this good?
No， 你跟 X-Rock 打得太厉害了。你在这个比赛是算第1名，然后现在打得像第1名。你们是什么方法到这里？
我觉得首先我们在这个世锦赛还没有完成最终的目标，所以我觉得我们还有更多要做得更好的地方吧。然后可能大家觉得我们打得好的原因，是因为我们5个人，包括我们的教练组，还有我们的整个赛训团队都齐心协力。
So they're saying that they're getting immense support from other fans, and it's just there's a strong sense of like familial bond, whether it's from the fans or their coaches. It's just all coming together. It's not just him, it's not the player, it's everyone's one big family.
It's an energy thing for sure. Next one I want to go to is, next up, you could play up against a Chinese team. I know how close-knit the Chinese region is. If you knock out a Chinese team or play against them, is that an exciting, fun moment, or is that like a sad, somber moment to knock out a friend?
所以明天你可能会面对清酒，你觉得可能对别的中国队你很兴奋，或者有一点伤心，因为你可能会打败他们。
我觉得不管面对秦九还是 ST， 还是我们今天对阵的 Godlike， 因为我们都是来自东方的队伍，我觉得没有什么，哪怕走的是我们还是说其他的队伍，我都会感到伤心吧。但是我赢了可能会开心 ，because it's a team of family.
So facing against any team, they're not going to be particularly sad. If anything, they'll be glad to face Qingzhou because the same country. It's like a family, even though they're on the same teams.
That's kind of what I figured. Like I said, the Chinese region seems very, very close-knit, and it's just fun to watch. So a lot of fun. Congratulations on the victory. Good luck in your next ones. Standing by, we have Beef Mommy talking to the members of Godlike.
Thank you so much, F. I'm with Learn right now, the IGL of Godlike. How was that game for you? That was really rough because that is not an easy opponent to go up against, especially this early on in the day.
I would say that we were not disciplined enough this year, and Chinese teams are really strong, and we knew this, but today was not our day, and we should have worked hard. And I would just expect more competition in our region itself, because if you see, only 3 of the Chinese teams are in the top 8, and I really expect that the Indian teams grind hard and give us a good competition so that next year when we come here, we're definitely on the bar to bar.
And speaking of your preparation for next year, like I know you just came off hot off of this game, right? But what do you think is something that you and your team need to work out going into, I guess, 2025?
I would say for next year, I'm happy and sad right now, but the competition is insane. I really want to grind hard, but let's see for the next year what the future holds. Yeah.
But I mean, I know that this is not the outcome that you wanted, right, for your team, of course. But I mean, man, your growth, Godlike in just 1 year, has already been such a statement. And of course, coming in from day number 1, almost being eliminated. How did that feel like yesterday?
To be honest, we learn from international teams a lot, because in India it's very hard. The gaming has just started, and I'm really happy that we got a good experience from here. And the dream is still on. We'll never give up. We'll learn from the Chinese teams. We'll learn from the Western teams. My name says it all, and I'll come back stronger.
You gotta learn, and of course, you gotta dream on. Thank you so much, Learn. You have been such an amazing player. And of course, that's not just for today. There's a lot more matches up, and not the only squad that will be crossed off here. Thank you so much, Learn. Again, when it comes to the competition, there's still a lot more things happening today. We'll see you in a little bit.
我们是来自中国的 S-Rock 战队，这次 DreamHack 的比赛，我们将会赢下冠军。
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
Since the year 00, we was out to get more. Bunch of really real G's, burning trees till we low. Sitting by 45 like I'm Jordan on the floor. Here we go, against the grain is what they say my name for. I'm just riding around my city, bank account and chair model. Sitting pretty, I just had to let them know I'm unforgettable. I'm unforgettable. Since the year 00, we was out to get more. Bunch of really real G's, burning trees till we low. Sitting by 45 like I'm Jordan on the floor. Here we go, against the greatest, what they say my name for. Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not? We on the path to greatness. We're shooting the shot to make it. So moving the target is aimless. Cause we got the power to shape shift. We'll catch the energy waving. We go till our bones are aching. Cause the top spot's for the taking. And we on a mission to take it. Are you ready or not? It's about to go off. Turn it up on the spot. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. We gon' sit at the top. Give it all we got. Are you ready or not? 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 It's about to go off. Turn it up on the spot. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. We gon' sit at the top. Give it all we got. Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not?
Something in my bones. I am fit to run. Ready for the rampage. Come before the storm.
I'm here with Q9. I'm going to ask them a couple of questions heading into this weekend. What does it feel like being back at DreamHack here for the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships?
感觉都挺好的，就感觉到这就很放松。
Which strategies have been the most impactful for you guys this year? Which teammates have been performing at their best?
我觉得这次的比赛，我们最关键的策略是，我们每个人做好自己的那一部分吧，然后就是把平时训练的东西都完美的展现出来就可以。
So Wolves last year were a big problem for you guys. Are they still the biggest issue from your region, or are X-Rock also a really big problem now?
我觉得其实这一回的世界锦标赛，每一个队伍都是强敌，就我觉得每支队伍都应该小心，所以我觉得我们更应该做好自己的那一部分，然后在场上能够自信的放松的去打好每一场比赛就可以了。
The top of the world ranking is very tight. Are you guys favorites, do you think, or is there somebody else?
我感觉我也说不清楚，但我觉得我们一定是这一回，怎么说呢？一定是这一回的强队之一。
So the road to becoming the champions is strewn with failures. Is there anything that you guys have worked on that was an issue for you, and what was that?
我感觉现在的选手的个人的能力越来越强了，然后包括每个队伍的一些战术啊都变得更加丰富了，所以我们要做的就是，可能我们要在个人能力上比他们更强大，我们的战术要比他们更丰富，这就是我们要做的。
So you've been named MVP multiple times already. Would you have any advice for up-and-coming players?
我给他们的建议就是多去观看那些顶尖的选手的个人视角，就 POV， 然后平时自己的话也要多练习，就是带着那些一定要带着思考去玩，就是想，比如说在哪些方面还可以做到更好，去做到提升，这个会重要，这会加快你的进步，对。
So this is your chance to disrupt the momentum of your biggest rival. Who are they, and what do you want to say to them?
我觉得这一次比赛对我们威胁最大的对手应该是来自西方的所有队伍吧，因为我认为就是东部的这些队伍，因为我们在 CDSI 的那个邀请赛上跟他们有过交手，所以我会认为对东部的队伍我们会更了解一点，但是西部的队伍呢，我们到现在是不了解的，所以对我们来说很未知。我觉得这回他们对我们来说是一个非常大的挑战。
Have you got anything to say to your fans who are at home supporting you?
就是想对一直支持我们的粉丝说，就是谢谢你们一直支持我们。然后这一回，特别是国内的粉丝，在这一次顶着时差看我们打这一回的世界锦标赛，然后希望大家继续支持我们，然后我们一定会做到最好的。
So that is Q9, our Mobile Masters winners this year. Can they repeat it here this weekend?
Welcome back, everybody, to DreamHack Atlanta, where we are live with our Call of Duty Mobile World Championships. It's day 2 of our competition, the bracket stage of our competition, and already a team has been knocked out, and it is X-Rock who continue on and will play tomorrow in our semi-final matches, one step closer to making their way through to the grand final. It's time for us to continue on here with match number 2 of the day, and of course that means we brought back some new casters as well. We got Proper and Shift now to get us through match number 2. You excited to be up here? You ready for day 2?
Brits are out, Americans back on top. We're just happy to be here. Feel good, feel great. I like that you said new casters because everyone calls me old all the time. So this feels very nice. I like this. Stop it.
I'm keeping you young and youthful.
I love that.
Yeah, I did it just for you, all right?
Feel sprightly.
Now, you just got to hear from them in an interview, obviously Q9. Well, we have Q9 and Stalwart setting up on stage right now for match number 2. So let's start talking about this squad.
Where do you even start the conversation? These guys have understood what it feels like to be at the pinnacle, not only of their region, but for Call of Duty Mobile as a whole, kind of still chasing that proverbial dragon of trying to beat the champion after coming up short last year to even their fellow countrymen. The same story kind of follows them all the way through CDSI. Look, they have what it takes to be a championship caliber team. I don't think that anybody else can doubt that, but they keep coming up short. You have tons of different players that were so impactful across their entire stage yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that's the other part about this Q9 team in terms of like comparing them to last year is that they are a more complete team. Last year it was search and destroy, and that was about it. I mean, yeah, they handled business against teams that were way underneath their caliber. When we got to the playoff bracket, they really came up short when it came to the respawn overall. That seems to have been pretty darn polished. I think a lot of that is because, like Andy was saying, all 5 players have really taken some individual onus to be better in the respawns and not just rely on each other in search and destroy.
Which is even what we heard in the interview. They were saying exactly that they worked on things not only on an individual level, but together as a squad as well, as we get to kind of see some stats here.
Yeah, I mean, look, for the last few times, it's just one rivalry over and over again. How much can you take for Garena? For Stalwart, it has been pretty easy for Q9, but when they're going up against Garena's best in Elevate, still coming up short.
Well, you mentioned Stalwart. We get to see him for a second there on that graphic. They are the other team up here on the stage, so let's start talking about them as well, Yushin.
Yeah, Stalwart is an interesting story because I think coming into this event, we really had a top 4, and it was the 3 Chinese teams at Elevate. And now all of a sudden, Stalwart's like, don't forget that we're just as competitive as anyone else out of the Garena region, let alone what they were able to do at CDSI, which was pretty formidable. They did come up a little bit short in terms of getting deeper into the bracket, but overall, they're looking just as complete of a squad as anybody else. matchups in particular, their respawn has looked really, really good. Playing up against Galler's yesterday on the Arsenal control really surprised me. 3-0, perfect. Really understanding the map, not just doing it by spawn trapping, but just as a macro focus, they were playing the map well.
The only series that they lost yesterday was 0-2, actually too elevated. Again, it has always been that chase. I feel like that Stalwart has been there continuously, and much like on the opposite side we were talking about for Q9, Stalwart do have their standout players. Skirt throughout the entirety of yesterday has just been on a different level, but that's exactly what you're going to need, especially going into the single elimination bracket. It is shark-infested waters from the get-go. You need these guys to show up.
Got some stats here for Skirt as well. Got to see some individual highlight moments for him. I mean, this is going to be a player that could potentially help Stalwart Esports get the wins they're looking for.
Oh, big time. And just to kind of reflect on not just Skirt individually, but how he played in particular against Elevate, that's where it really stood out to me. It was a 200-250 loss. That's a coin toss in terms of COD Mobile Hardpoint, and then an 8-6 overtime loss in the Search and Destroy. So it's as close as it gets, and seeing Skirt play like this on LAN is good news for the Garena fans.
Yeah, and this is going to be a fun one to see up here on the main stage as well, because Q9, out of everyone we've seen so far, one of the only teams we haven't gotten to see on the main stage. So let's start talking about the maps, what they've chosen here for their picks this time around. Best of 5, obviously, for anyone who's just joining us, starting off with the APOC hardpoint.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, sorry, I was just going to quickly say that this is a rematch from CDSI where Q9 3-0'd STE. Now, the only thing that's different here is the fact that none of the maps are repeats. This is a very unique map set to what they had played last time around.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point that I was going to bring up. Obviously, scorelines are different when they were playing across the seas, but, you know, not seeing the Hacienda hardpoint, which you inevitably lost for Stalwart, 250 to 124, probably very happy not to have that one in this specific pool.
Yeah.
Search and Destroy, respectable as far as scoreline is concerned, though we do know that for all Chinese teams, they are very good at Search and Destroy at one point or another. But ultimately, with all that said, I think that this is still going to be a square-up matchup for this map number 1. Apocalypse could be the start that you need for Stalwart.
Yeah, I think for Stalwart, you have to win map 1, 3, and 4 if you were to win this series, which is easy to say against a Chinese team because we expect Chinese teams to win the Search and Destroy. But I think in particular, neither of these two teams are great at Apocalypse, and Stalwart has been riding the Summit train all weekend long. So it feels like both hardpoints and the control have to be won by Stalwart if they want to win the series.
All right, then give me quick predictions here. Who do you think's going to be taking this one home?
Q9.
Same?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
3-2, though?
Yeah, I have it going 5 because, to Shift's point, if Stalwart are going to win this, it has to end in 4. Q9 are flawless through Search and Destroy all throughout the entirety of the tournament so far. So, yeah, don't go 5.
Yeah, I've just got Q9 losing the control.
All right. Well, at least similar in who you think's going to be taking this one home, and it looks like everybody is going to have same opinion. Same 3-2 and 3-1, so everybody matches up in some way.
We get along sometimes.
A little bit, every once in a while. So this is what we'll see. We'll see if everybody at home agrees with you well. If you're in chat, give us your predictions on who you think's going to be taking home match number 2, which team continues on in the bracket, and who will be knocked out, whose run ends here right now, because that's exactly what is about to happen. Q9 versus Stalwart, getting ready to go. The game is loading in. Let's push another team through.
Let's do it. And again, this is all about, can Q9 find a way to get another rematch versus X-Rock on the top side of the bracket? Otherwise, Stalwart look to surprise, take down one of our top 3 squads coming in to this event overall. And I will say, the improvements from CDSI to now have been good. Just comes down to, are they good enough against one of China's best?
For me, the word consistency keeps coming to mind when it comes down to the Garena region. Do not bat an eyelash at what they've been able to accomplish since then and now. But how good are you today for both Stalwart Esports and Q9? Again, playing it yesterday for Q9, 250 to 160 versus 4MV. Take that as you will. But yeah, between these two teams, the only one that's to play it across the weekend is Q9.
Yeah, and that's the other point about it is, like, power ranking that result, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Yeah, it's small data overall. But like we kind of mentioned, both these two teams had played it quite a bit throughout their regions as well as in CDSI, and it really didn't feel like this map leans one direction or the other. So that's why we say Stalwart. This feels like a must win, and so far so good. Finding some decent time here in the first hardpoint, plus good focus over towards rotation and new at the right side of the map.
So have some threats nearby. Gonna be really worried about Malchi. That is one of the players you always have to keep a close eye on where that AR is currently locked and loaded and ready for. 10 seconds still remains here on P1. And Stalwart are actually breaking out from Ruins just to fight for the old 10 seconds of time. Whether they knew it or not, Q9 are spawning in Bufu, but you still have players hanging around P2.
Oh, really good finesse from Chen. Getting over to the top of the jump wall, finds a couple eliminations that will move the spawns in favor of Q9 for new, and he also keeps his life to make sure he doesn't overchow. Shot up over through cave side. Smoke giving him a little bit of cover, but as soon as they break through it, it's right into the waiting arms of Q9. 3 straight eliminations. Only one more player to find in the back, and they will find it. Really good start for Q9.
Now all eyes need to look forward. You got 2 trying to push all the way out from maps, the rest trying to go through the hop up, but if you attempt to try to go through the broken down ruins, you will just get gunned through a multitude of different head glitches. Some players are actually able to get all the way to the back of ruins, so a pinch is currently going on, but Q9 do great enough to be able to isolate these players. They'll get back inside the top.
Yeah, Clove just a little too antsy right there. He tries to push down when he's got 2 teammates right behind him in the middle of a reload. Maybe that could have led to more significant of a break, but Q9 quick to rebuttal, find their way back in. From the front, though, 18 seconds of scrap time to fight for it. Stalwart have broken their way through cave side. Couple of nice eliminations behind this. Smoke will work out. Really good contest here for Stalwart, able to get this to a tie game.
Look at the spawns, though. Investing into P2. How quickly do you think they're going to be able to at least read this? What you should know now is you have a spawn inside of ruins, and you already at least have Clove turning back to look at the broken down chopper. Catches 1. Second would be Magnificent, and is able to do that as well. Spawns will not flip, but this is very, very good for the rotation.
Clove has just been the hero right now. He goes for a 4 spree by himself, front side of the trench, and now all of a sudden you've got Sparrow out, you've got Equalizers out. IG just not able to find more than just the first, though, so the trades are decent for Q9 in the face of the operators, and now they have a chance to pop some of their own.
This is that time. Sweet spot. P3. So we're going to start seeing a lot of investment. We know how good Q9 have been in the past of just being able to respond in kind, and it's Ooling's War Machine to be able to find 3. A lot of space to push on forward, albeit the Sparrow pulled. Did not find everything, but the break nonetheless.
Yeah, really good 50-50 split here. The tug-of-war between the operators have led to success on both sides, so efficiency metrics looking solid. Purifier to try to change things up for Chen, and it will at least allow Stalwart to be pushed back just a touch further. Final 12 seconds, though, not really much to consider in terms of the overall scrap, but the push from beyond the hard point is what we're really focused on, and as Stalwart continue to try to fight through old, they will also have a couple of players trying to contest new.
This P4 is going to be massive going in towards the second set. I mean, just look at the way that Q9 are still forced out on the backside of the useless building. And I love this heads-up play, at least from Stalwart Esports, but just because you have a superior positioning doesn't mean you automatically win the gunfight. /alive will be dealt with, and should be easy pickings to set up on a couple head glitches here around the statue head.
So far, so good. Only one operator available, and that would be onto FDX if he chooses to use it or not. 61 plays 83. Q9 with numbers inside the hill. Trophy systems have been deleted. These incoming nades should start to land. It just comes down to, can you actually break through this cave system? It's such a nasty choke point, and that's exactly why. It's just so hard to break through. But with a little bit of help from a pinch coming out from IG, that's going to be enough for FDX to pop the Purifier and clear the hard point with still 25 seconds to fight.
Look at how much space he's currently taken away. Purifier was a great investment here. Can you still hold for this back 15 seconds? Can tie up the game if you're able to do so. Not be able to do it all yourself, but you set up your teammates for success, at least for the time being, until Curly walks in, finds 2, keeps it scrappy ahead of the second set.
Yeah, the big news here on that break attempt, though, is not only did Stalwart get this back to level footing, IG is able to find himself a Pred Missile. That's going to be huge towards trying to win some key rotations, likely from 1 to 2. See if he decides to hold on to it or not, because he also has an operator to play with. And wow, the kills for Stalwart looking good on rotation back to the middle of the map. Just down to, can they get the high ground with Q9 spawning on the left side of the map.
I mean, also just a heads-up play. You talk about the rotation over towards 1 to 2, and that's just all depending whether or not they actually lose it, as FDX is still finessing for his life. But previous to these gunfights that are currently unfolding from the previous spawn, Stalwart are doing a great job at just keeping Q9 at bay. That said, Q9 do fight back. They're back inside the time once more.
Ling feels like he's got to pop the War Machine and turns into 2 immediately. More around the backside of the truck, but largely speaking, this War Machine doesn't find as much punch as you would figure. It does allow Q9 to flip the map around, though. Pred Missile had been spent from FDX, but IG still holding on to his. Here comes the next play forward. Q9 still dealing with decent numbers, but Clove making a mess of it, already on to 2. He has a chance now for Stalwart to continue to break through the chicken coop, but on top is Zuling, and that's enough for Q9 to still retain the right side of the map.
Yeah, it's all from that moment. Me and Stalwart just couldn't just idly hang by and just watch all the time go over towards 1, but Q9 punished it. You're able to win the gunfights and flip the spawns for such a heavy rotation. It's a dead even game, 110 to 110. Got to try to find some stuns and nades to get over towards his hop up, but Q9 are starting to shut down the space.
I love this idea, though, from Stalwart initially. Try to just take your full focus down to the bottom of the map, because you technically have a Pred Missile to clear out the hard point, but as they get pushed out, now they're just defaulted to playing through the cave right into the waiting arms of Sun Sparrow. now. You also have the Purifier playing up, and this is not good. You do not want this if you're looking at it from Stalwart's perspective. ING just trying to desperately throw the Pred missile in, but it's not going to really change the status of the hard point whatsoever. Q9 dominating on this setup around P2.
I mean, such an immediate response to your point there. The moment they got the information, and I mean frame perfect got the information, all of those operators get popped, and even the equalizer from Curly at the end finds 4, and it's just disastrous on P2 for Stalwart Esports. You thought they would have had easy pickings for how that first set started off. Now they trail by 40 plus.
Without trying to sound too critical, remember that moment, because that was lazy gameplay from Stalwart. They're spawning P4, and instead of taking the long route to try to put more pressure through Temple, they're just defaulting to funneling into a Purifier, an Equalizer, a Sparrow. And if you can't take by my candor, that is an episode of Will It Blend, and Stalwart absolutely will blend. So 167-110, back over to P3. Stalwart will have a chance with 4 operators of their own to almost do the exact same thing that Q9 did to them.
That one player, Rogue, still over towards P2. At least goes 1 for 1, does LG, but still, from all of those operators, they're still being popped. Look at how many more members for Q9 are currently around the objective, because Stalwart are just getting gunned, no one's anchoring the back spawns, and then you get flanked, Q9 back in the time.
At least for now, over towards trench side, Sun dealt with. Still more operators at the ready. Equalizer and the Purifier going to be spent. What does it find? It finds nothing? Absolutely nothing?
Oh, no.
And now Uling over the backside with the War Machine could clear up the hard point. Uh-oh. Not what you want. Uling is teeing off. All 5 fall to the War Machine of Uling. And that will be enough for Q9 to get close, if not above, the 200-point threshold.
It's just felt so silent from Uling just until the War Machine pops out. Feels like the return of investment is about 3 kills plus. Very explosive operator, and the snowball continues on from P2 onward to P3. But you even look at the rotation towards P4, you still have the grace period before it actually pops. But Stalwart are still trying to hit through the old time and trying to surround the upcoming hill.
Yeah, and the problem is that was such an expensive hard point in terms of operator usage. Now you're just dealing with just Clove, who has one at the ready. The rest of Q9 getting close to earning some of their own as they can win the game right here. And once more, here comes that same funnel, but just from the opposite side. If you're Stalwart, you have to get control of Chicken Coop. You cannot just keep defaulting to playing through the middle. I mean, this map has been at the pool for 2 years. We need to know this by now.
Gotta be frustrating just to be on that stage. They might honestly just be thinking about the search and destroy coming up, but that might not be a good conversation or a good thought. You still have plenty of time left to maybe try to surmount the comeback. They break back in, still down to 20 seconds. You know that Q9 are still spawning over by Useless.
But Q9 have operators, and they still have the ability to run through Chicken Coop. Just the multiple points of ingress are just so dominant.
Yeah.
And Stalwart just not quite able to force the issue the way that they would have hoped to. So now it's a 100-point game. Only 16 points needed for Q9, and they're going to rotate back over to P1 where they already have high ground control through maps. This is where it ends.
It is. I mean, Q9 now have a sweet pickings on how would you like to win? Well, might as well just call a game here. Look at the spacing being provided, just making sure they cut down players left, right, and center. But Skurd does have a Sparrow, is able to at least find 2. You also had a push manifesting all the way through maps, so Stalwart in possession of the time.
For now, 3 operators, though, when Q9 want them. And they may not even need them. Couple of eliminations coming through. Clove trying to pull the hero play over towards the backside of Coop. Does well, catches a couple more. Stalwart now is starting to zone a little bit further forward, but can they survive through this incoming utility? Just 11 seconds needed for Q9. It would have to be the remaining time here for Stalwart plus a full 60 on Newt. It's not impossible, just improbable. So now it's down to what do they have left available. Shot up, trying to get the War Machine out, only finds one with it. The pinch from Mount Chi gets an opportunity for the rest of the teammates from the front to start finding success, and this break could very well mean the end.
Still enough time to close it out here, so long as everybody stays around the time. You have to contest if you're Stalwart, and you're going to be walking into a lot of line of sights currently being held. The contest comes through, so we will go new, but there's already a player trying to thread the rotation.
Yeah, 1v1 over the top of the jump wall is going to be everything. Pushing forward is Clove. He's able to at least zone out for now. Again, Q9 still holding on to 3 operators. Hit from the front is where largely this is playing, but look at the play over through the jump wall. They're pinching it nicely. Nades and War Machines over the top. This is leading to now an opportunity for Q9 to get the kills that they need to move on forward. FTX still holding on. Skurd needs to be the hero, but can he survive through Curly's equalizer? Doesn't look likely as he rips apart the back line, and that will do it. Curly with the final moments, and Q9 take a very comfortable win.
It really does say something that even when they're staring down the barrel of having to break through P1 going in towards P2. They had those 3 operators at the end of the previous set of hard points, but then they just waited for the right moment, found some spacing, and then the moment they got inside P2 to call game, that's when you saw the operators being pulled by Q9. And it's those core fundamentals that do make them a very frightening team, because they always have a plan, and they always execute it very, very well, comparatively to Stalwart that did obviously have a plan, but once all of your operators get shut down, only finding maybe at max 2 kills, and then Uling pops a War Machine and finds 6.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify how you can actually work your way back into an APOC hardpoint.
Yeah, I think, just there are some small differences in operator efficiency that was utilized throughout this map. I think in particular that moment from Uling is the highlight bonus one. I think Hurley as well, the equalizers was unbelievable. But the thing about it is the macro of how you play the map.
Yes.
You cannot funnel through cave. You just can't. It's a 5v5 map on what was initially a 4v4 map when it was played in the traditional multiplayer. You have to send players on routes. You cannot just run through cave, whether it's P2 or P4. That's a day one mistake, and it's what punishes Stalwart.
Yeah, I mean, you just simply cannot play a card game with inside-out cards, and that's what it generally felt like. It was the definition of insanity. You're forcing yourself into very inopportune gunfights and more inopportune opportunities that made Q9 just look so brilliant with their operator usage as well. 50 and 34 out of Curly. A lot of those coming from the equalizer pulls of what we were just talking about. Same for Uling, 45 and 25. But you look from top to bottom, and just the assist column again coming through. A lot of good team shots were coming through from Stalwart, absolutely, but Q9 just always felt like that they were playing around one another.
Yeah, and again, it's tough because if Stalwart were just to have tried to hit the outside routes through Temple, that map may look very different, but the largest stretch of points put together was between P2 and then again over to P4 where Q9 were just dominating the middle of the map. You just got to hit, you have to hit a route. I mean, the common phrase in the COD world that we say is route man gets paid. No one got paid today from Stalwart because no one was hitting routes. So tough scenes overall, but hey, that's the one thing we talked about, that this APOC map wasn't necessarily going to lean towards one team or another based on statistics. What we're looking forward to would be Stalwart trying to take the Summit hardpoint in map number 4. But first, before they could do that, they got to find a way to fight against this firing range search, which Q9 is great at, and then find a way to manipulate the seaside control.
I mean, it's just, how do you not spin this as an uphill battle? Q9 throughout the entirety of the weekend are 4-0. Yes, they've had some at least close escapes, but so their search and destroy, from what I was able to go back and watch last night, has been very, very good. And I think that this does play into their game mode, especially, or into their wheelhouse. Walking away with how dominant that win was on map 1. Uling's going to come in here with a sniper rifle and just have a heyday.
Yeah, that's definitely an uphill battle for whatever we're talking about, X-Rock or Q9 playing up against them on Search and Destroy. But in particular, I mean, this Q9 team is the number 2 S&D team this weekend. Like you said, they're flawless so far. Their average margin of victory is 5.25. So
it's pretty good.
That's average 7-2 is how they're beating teams. Whereas on the other side, it hasn't been notoriously bad from the side of Stalwart, but it has been one of their weakest modes kind of historically, and that was also showcased at CDSI. So the improvements haven't necessarily been there, and the problem is you got to have a firing range and then a Tunisia if you do get to map 5 that you have to take down this Q9 squad, and those are the 2 most played maps in Chinese COD Mobile. So you don't feel great about their chances in terms of winning this through the through the search and destroys.
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely not. You go back to the predictions. That's why even I was the one that at least gave them the benefit of the doubt with taking 2 maps, because if it goes 5, yeah, it's tough to spin it. At Stalwart will be able to complete it. But I digress. Look, they were able to at least have a 7-5 win versus Luminosity, and that is super respectable as far as 2 of their wins in Search and Destroy yesterday compared with the 2 of their losses.
Yeah.
They did get blown out of the water, albeit on a takeoff, 1-7 versus Gallerus, who, of course, are a very good Search and Destroy team. But kind of gives you a taste of what this one might honestly feel like. To Shift's point, you are sharing the stage with a top 2 Search and Destroy team on the weekend.
Yeah. And to be fair, this is Stalwart's map pick.
Sure.
And I think if you were to look at
comfort,
other regions playing up against Chinese teams, I think the rule of thumb is you have to win your Search and Destroy pick. That's what Elevate did when they won CDSI. They won their Search and Destroy picks, and they dominated in the respawns.
Right.
That has to be, I think, the key to victory for every team playing up against X-Rock, Q9, or Wolves when we eventually see them.
Yeah, I mean, the firing range is always kind of a toss-up, because, I mean, it's one of those map mode combinations. To your exclaim about Apocalypse Hardpoint, we've had this around for quite some time, so you feel like that there could be some unknown variables potentially for it to come all the way through. Again, when these 2 teams last faced off against each other, which was not too long ago, they did play that Express Search and Destroy, and it ended 9-4. So
yeah, not bad.
I would say that the armor is not impenetrable, but you're definitely going to have to work real hard when it comes down to firing range. Really finesse your angles. We just want to see good utility being used to unearth some of these positions that you know that the sniper rifles in Q9's hands will be lurking at.
It's just one of those things, like, and it's something to keep an eye on throughout the day, is how often are these teams going to say, let's take the sniper 1v1? Like, let's actually voluntarily square up, see who wins that opening battle, as we're already into the action here in round number 1, and nades have already landed from Mao Chi on the Clove. That's over towards the B side of the map, which Stalwart still seem to want to try to push through. The MG's already up and blazing through these walls for Mao Chi, and he's saying, I've got damage and I'm trying to force the issue, but a late stun does land and it gets us to a 4v4.
I don't like how late this assistance might have honestly been, and now that the rotation comes through, you're not even going to be able to find an exit. So 4v4, we will wrap all the way back over towards A, but the benefit of doing that tin push, you'll be right back to assist your teammate for this push.
3 players for Q9 have already committed to playing in the obstacles course, even getting a little bit further forward. Son able to hit his first shot. Response on the way, good for IG. Gets 2. Shot's not going to land for Chen as well. So we trade this out nicely if you're Stalwart. 2v1 situation, and Shot Up is on the long flank. Question is, do they have a tally on where Uling has moved towards? It doesn't look like it, but it may not matter because the bomb's being planted at B.
Gonna have to at least get through one before you can find the other. Uling.
Oh, timing.
That is actually criminally insane.
Oh, they saw him though. And Shot Up is deciding, do I want to play sandbags or want to play inside the site? He's going to opt to play sandbags. Time ticking away, starting to lean back towards B. Difficult 1v2 here for Uling. He's cleared out a lot of the backside of the site, but now here's the difficult part. How do you work your way into the actual bomb site itself? Nade being cooked. This would need to land. And, well, it's in a good spot. It does get a hit marker, in and out. Maybe an opportunity to get the isolation, but the time is running out here. And IG has backed himself into a corner where he's gotten the regen and an opportunity to crossfire with Shot Up. A brilliant little bounce back there from Stalwart after losing the first blood.
You cannot make up that faith that IG had to have for Shot Up. I mean, yeah, I would also trust Shot Up if he had to watch my cross like that. But, you know, it's one of those things, you get naded. Typically, our first reaction is just to move. That's the exact play that Uling wanted, but not to be played into those hands. A nice little bounce back to Stalwart when they seemed that they were down.
Yeah, opening shot. Okay, Shot Up also able to find Sun. So an early 5v4. FDX getting at least some consideration for his position. A couple of shots coming out towards him. Still fine and dandy, though, as the defense for Q9 going to be tested here. One player playing a little bit more aggressively through mid. It's a little bit of a crossfire setup inside of the trailer with Chen on an R9. So he's going to be stuck there for pretty much the rest of the round.
The taking down of Sun, that's a big scope out of the way. As the push starts to manifest all the way through jungle, you do have 2 defensive players here. They're guarded by a trophy.
I'll say, trophy system already finding its impact. They're looking for the players deeper. They don't see Uling. This trigger discipline and timing on the peak is brilliant, but the trades are still decent for the side of Stalwart. You go to a 3v2, the flank from IG, decent. That's going to be a good freebie onto Chen, and now you just back up, rotate to A, which is wide open, and the only one left is Curly trying to rotate back through 10.
Timing is everything here in a 1v3. Might not even get a good look as far as an exit, let alone an isolation. Even with having a numbers advantage, Stalwart are not going to give Curly a shot.
Yeah, and the problem with Curly here is he doesn't know if anyone's playing rogue behind him through B still, so it's tough to get proactive.
Someone could get timing outside of the wood. So many questions.
So many opportunities. So Curly just has to kind of put the blinders on and just focus forward. First shots are perfect. IG will drop immediately. Now here's the tough part. Smoke out. He gets the first. Almost a chance at the final, but Shot Up right there for the trade. Holds on, and Stalwart taking early 2-0 edge.
HP advantage, but had the read. Almost had the full-on centering. A couple headshots away, maybe about another 20 HP. I don't know, maybe. My brain would definitely go there, but what a great opening for Stalwart Esports. Again, going against everything that we've said so far. Q9 kind of get mixed up with what Stalwart are throwing their way.
Different setup here for Q9. Same crossfire setup inside a trailer, but you're going to have number 2 in Mao Chi playing top 10 with a passive sniper angle from Sun. Not going to give an offer to take that 1v1 sniper battle early is Q9. So different kind of more reserved identity in
That's a pretty good event.